I was wondering, are there any advantages to using ESA for our child?
Well, if you make too much to do an ESA, you can do a 529, and so for college, so there's not much need for UTMAs. An UTMA simply means the money's in the kid's name. That's really what it means. It's a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, and it just means you open an account in your kid's name. That's all it means. You can open a savings account, you can open a mutual fund, you can open whatever. If you want to do investing on their behalf in their name, as soon as they turn 21, that's their money.
Okay.
And there's no limitation on it and no strings on it. It's not yours. And to take it back to run it in an UTMA and then take it back at 20 and a half because you don't like the way the kid's behaving could be called theft.
No, we do 529, but based on our income, we're looking at other ways of doing it, saying putting in something for her to use other than school if she needed to.
Yeah.
529 is a restricted school, and I was wondering, would it reduce our tax burden, and would she be affected by taxes at all?
Yeah, she would have to file a tax return once she breaches certain levels of income on that UTMA.
Okay.
And you file a tax return on her behalf, and it's unearned income. It's unearned income. So it's not income that you could file like a Roth IRA on or something later. But yeah, you do cut the tax burden on it if there ends up being a ton of money in there. And for a small amount of money, it ends up being no taxes because they don't pay any taxes. They've got an exemption. Each person does, right, on taxes on the amount of income that's taxable, investment and wage income. And so you do lower that. That's the only thing that was available when our kids were growing up.
Okay.
And so there wasn't an ESA or a 529 at that point. And so we did UTMAs for them. We did not end up using them for college, and what they ended up being was their money. And, of course, we gave them control of that as they became adults. And so it became a blessing, but there wasn't a ton of money in there. It wasn't like hundreds of thousands of dollars or something.
Right. Are there annual limits that you can put in there per calendar year?
Not that I'm aware of, unless you get into a gift tax thing. And you'd want to check with your tax people to be sure on that. But that would be $13,000 a year that you can get, individual can give an individual without getting into gift tax. As far as the UTMA laws go, or the how much money you can put into your kid's name, there's no limitation on that. You may get into a gift tax thing if you go over $13,000 a year, and you'd want to check on that. I think you probably would, but I'm not a tax expert. Hey man, thanks for the call. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We are glad you are here. You can follow us on Twitter at Dave Ramsey. About 360,000 of you do. You can follow us on Facebook.com/Dave Ramsey. About 1,300,000 of you are there. Thank you for that. And Sharon's on Facebook. We're in our mid-50s and we'll be debt-free by year end. We need to purchase life insurance to cover 10 times our salaries. $1 million for my wife, $400,000 for me. With our age, how long should we purchase term insurance for? Well, the purpose of term insurance and buying 10 times your income or 12 times your income is to replace your income if something happens to you. So that if you die, your wife has enough income with the money and the assets that you have. Now, with the kids grown and gone in your 50s and debt-free by year end, I don't know if you mean house or not, but let's say it's house. So you have no debt, house or anything, kids are grown and gone. As soon as you have enough investments for her to live on comfortably in your absence, you would have very little need for life insurance, or vice versa. As soon as you have enough investments for you to live on in her absence, you would not need that. So you're very close to self-insured. And so I guess the question, how long should we purchase term insurance for, would depend on how big your nest egg is, how close you are to being self-insured. If you're self-insured today, you don't even need life insurance. Let's say you had $1 million in mutual funds today. You're debt-free. You're 54 years old. And your kids are grown and gone. Well, I don't think you need life insurance. You'll be just fine. She'll be just fine. If either one of you pass away, you're going to be okay. You've not got any issues there. And so you don't really you've become self-insured by getting out of debt and by saving money, meaning you actually did a financial plan and you lived it. Wow, what a cool idea. And that sets you up to where you don't need life insurance for the rest of your life. That's why I don't believe in whole life, because it presupposes you're going to need insurance for your whole life. And then they charge you 100 times more for it than they should. And so that's why term insurance is much cheaper and much better. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. About you and for you. This is the Dave Ramsey Channel on iHeartRadio. I recently had a conversation with a friend, and I learned about a young man in his late 20s who died suddenly with no life insurance. I don't want to sound unsympathetic, but that drives me crazy. What are people thinking? I don't understand how taking care of your family isn't a top priority. Without life insurance, how would your family pay the bills, put food on the table, take care of their needs if you were gone? I know it can be a struggle getting on a budget and dealing with debt. But no matter where you are in the baby steps or your dead snowball, you need to protect your family. This is why I talk about term life insurance every day. It's not expensive and it's not complicated. I've used and recommended Xander Insurance for 15 years. They shop the top companies to find you the most competitive rates, and they keep the whole thing simple. Go to XanderInsurance.com or call them at 800-356-4282. Protecting your family needs to be your top priority. In the lobby of Financial Peace Plaza, Chris and Sarah are with us. Hey, guys.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Awesome. Welcome. Where are you from?
Wichita, Kansas.
Cool. What brings you to Nashville?
You.
Coming here to do the debt-free stream,
Absolutely.
huh?
We are.
Now, how old are these kiddos?
Leo is 5 and Ava is 3.
Ava is 3. Well, they're good-looking kids.
Thank you.
Really cute. You're really cute and pretty. Awesome. So how much debt have you paid off?
$72,000.
All right. Way to go. How long did this take you?
2.5 years.
All right. Very good. Making what kind of money during that time?
Right around 100.
Okay. Good. Good. So, Sarah, whose idea was this get out of debt stuff?
It was mine.
It was yours?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, you're the smart one in the family. Good.
Absolutely. He's the nerd.
So how did this happen? How did it go down?
Well, we had bought a new house, and we probably got it in over our heads. And I'm selling gold trying to pay for daycare, and I thought, this is pathetic. We make too much money for this. And a friend of mine had just sold us a brand new car, and I asked him, why did you do that? And he said, have you ever heard of this guy named Dave Ramsey? So he clued me in about you, and there you go.
We took the class, and then included in that, we found a church home.
Oh, wow.
So, and have been very regular attenders since.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
Very cool. Puts God back in your life in the process.
Exactly.
I like it. That's fun. Good for you guys. All right. What kind of debt was the $72,000?
Name it.
Cars, motorcycle, credit cards, student loans.
What did you sell?
4 motorcycles and a minivan.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa, you were into bikes. What kind of bikes did you have?
Most of them were old, fixer-uppers.
Okay.
Except for the
Fun
new
stuff.
BMW.
Except for the BMW,
Yeah.
The big boy. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So that, man, that's amazing. So 2.5 years, you've been selling stuff, you've been intense, you've been focused, and so when you got disgusted, you went and ended up going to the class, and there's something, I don't know exactly, you ever know how to quantify that, and one of these days I'm going to find a word for it, or I'm going to make up a word or something, for this point where you become disgusted, where you have that I've had it moment, and you did. You looked up and you go, we make $100,000 a year, I'm selling gold to pay for daycare, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
And you just have that moment and you just go, that's it, I've had it.
Yes.
She had that long before I did.
So how did you get him to get involved?
I guess I just got mean. No.
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 You look mean.
She got excited about it.
I did.
Okay.
It wasn't until she was excited that I got excited.
And we started making progress, and I was able to show him the progress that we were making.
And then you went to the class.
No.
Oh, you were already in the class.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're already in the class, but you were kind of going against your will a little bit, and she drug you a little bit. And then...
He called himself, instead of gazelle intense, a fat antelope.
Yeah, that's me.
That's good. Well, he turned into a gazelle. It's good. He's leaned down now. That's right. That is so fun. Well, cool. So you went through the class. Now people are looking at you like you looked at that guy that sold his car. And they're saying, you did it. You paid off $72,000 in debt in 2.5 years, making $100,000. How did you do it? What are the 2 or 3 most important things?
Being in it together, definitely.
Teamwork.
Yeah, that's when it really started going, was when we did it together. Making the budget and just
sticking to the budget.
And telling each other no, more so than even telling ourselves no.
Okay. So the first thing out of your mouth was, and I'm listening to this, it's interesting, was the first thing was being in it together. But you talk about the process is, hey, we start with the fat antelope, right? That's right. And dragging his heels. But the conversion process, Chris, I mean, because I got a feeling you're a little bit like me. I'm pretty cynical about stuff.
Very cynical.
I just assume everything is bad, and then we have to work backward from there. I don't trust much. I have the gift of cynicism. And so you're kind of coming in here going, oh, this guy's some kind of a huckster. This guy, he's, you know.
I thought you were a flake.
That's what I would have been doing.
I did.
Yeah, this guy's a flake. He's one of these Christian nutballs. Yeah. That's what I would have been doing. And that's how I enter a lot of stuff. But then, if it proves out, I can be talked into it. So she's working it, though, and you're seeing the evidence, and that began to turn you? Or tell me how that process worked in your mind.
I told her from the beginning, I will be supportive. I'll do my part. And it wasn't really set in my mind until she actually sat me down and made me do the budget with her and go through the numbers and show me. And she would send me text messages. Hey, this credit card's paid off. Hey, your motorcycle's paid off. Hey, I'm selling the minivan and we're buying something cheap. And that was kind of the nail in the coffin right there.
Shocked you, What?
This is serious.
Yeah, this is real now. Yeah. Cool. So you really did. You saw. You just, Sarah. You just took it and ran with it, and he didn't resist, but he didn't have his shoulder to the wheel with you initially. But then together, as soon as you got in there together, it changes everything.
Yeah.
It
went crazy.
Yeah. Very cool. So how did you, Sarah, from your perception, because I get asked these questions all the time, so it's great to have to watch somebody walk through this process. People are dying to know these answers. So how did you get him to do that first budget? Because he said, once I sat down, that's what he said, once I sat down and I saw it, what'd you do? Because you said you were mean. Were you mean, really? Was she?
Was I? Yeah.
She was.
Okay.
She wasn't mean. She was stern.
I was consistent.
I'm going to kill you if you don't do this.
Yeah, you need to know what's going on. We've got to do this together.
Yeah, okay. I insist.
Yeah.
But not in an over-the-top yelling, throwing things away. But it's just, we're doing this, get over here, sit down.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just real firm and, okay, enough of this.
Right.
And then, boom, the light switch starts to go off. That's so cool. That's so cool. Because that's insightful for other people. Because I get a call every day. How do I get my wife on board? How do I get my husband on board? It's the same. Every day people ask that question. And every day I say, I'm not real sure.
And of course, it's just luck. I don't know.
It's not luck. It's God's blessing, for one thing. But it's also, you guys love each other, respect each other, and that was at the core and enabled you to have the conversations.
Absolutely.
So that's there was a foundation long before I showed up.
Right.
So very cool, you guys. I'm very proud of you. This is fun. What a beautiful family. It's good to have you here from Wichita, Kansas. Chris and Sarah, $72,000 paid off in 2.5 years, making $100,000 a year. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
When you tweet that Vine video with that precious little girl, I will be retweeting that. Oh, she is cute. Oh, man. That was fun. How neat is that? Very well done. You guys got to see this. So just jump on Twitter. If you don't follow me at Dave Ramsey, go ahead and jump on there right now and do it, because I'm going to retweet that as soon as Martha posts that thing. She posts an 8-second Vine video on some of these debt-free screams, and then occasionally I get to retweet one of them, and I definitely will that one. That is serious fun. Hey, that's a great story right there. That's a great story. That family's just going along, and they're buying stuff, and what do you say, motorcycles and campers, and they're making $100,000 a year, and she's having to scrape together gold to sell it to pay daycare. And you have that moment. I may start calling it the worm moment, because that's what my mom used to say, right? But when she got frustrated right before she beat us, she would say, "Now the worm has turned." Now, we didn't have any idea what that meant, but we knew that it was not getting ready to be pretty after that. Because, you know, when you reach that point of disgust, the worm has turned. It was years later I found out it was actually a Shakespearean line. Who knew Mom knew Shakespeare? But she never was actually quoting Shakespeare at that point, as far as we knew. We just knew we were in trouble. But the worm has turned. When you finally have that "I've had it" moment, Les Brown, the great motivator, says people change their lives when they finally say, "I've had it. I've had it." That's what moves the needle in your life, folks. That puts this hour in the books. Our thanks to Matt Aaron, our chief engineer, Blake Thompson, our producer extraordinaire, Laura Johnson's our associate producer, and Kelly Daniel is our phone screener. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back.
This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to the subject matter covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the host nor the station is engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional advice. Since the details of your situation are fact-dependent, you should additionally seek the services of a competent professional.
You're listening to the Dave Ramsey Channel on iHeartRadio, presented by Zander Insurance.
I recently had a conversation with a friend, and I learned about a young man in his late 20s who died suddenly with no life insurance. I don't want to sound unsympathetic, but that drives me crazy. What are people thinking? I don't understand how taking care of your family isn't a top priority. Without life insurance, how would your family pay the bills, put food on the table, take care of their needs if you were gone? I know it can be a struggle getting on a budget and dealing with debt. But no matter where you are in the baby steps or your debt snowball, you need to protect your family. This is why I talk about term life insurance every day. It's not expensive and it's not complicated. I've used and recommended Zander Insurance for 15 years. They shop the top companies to find you the most competitive rates, and they keep the whole thing simple. Go to ZanderInsurance.com or call them at 800-356-4282. Protecting your family needs to be your top priority. Peace Plaza, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is your show, America. Thank you for joining us. It's a free call at 888-825-5225, or you can go online at DaveRamsey.com, click Dave's email. Please keep those brief and to the point, and we'll do our best to answer them as a part of the show today. Steve is with us to start off this hour in South Bend, Indiana. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good, thank you, sir. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, I had a question. We are, my wife and I are in year 2 of our debt snowball. We've paid off both of our cars and all our credit cards, and we're now on to the student loans. Her student loans, she owes about $27,000 left. There's a thing in her loans called the Public Service Forgiveness Loan, where if we make every payment on time for 10 years, they forgive the rest of the sum of the loan. And my question was, should we pay it off?
Are you in year 9?
No, we're not.
Didn't pay it off.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
What year are you in?
She's been in this about 3.5 years, so we'd have about 6.5 years left.
Yeah, I'm not staying in debt on $27,000 for 6.5 years. The interest alone will kill you.
Okay.
So,
That's what I figured you'd say.
yeah, there are some public service forgiveness things where you are dealing with, you know, an underserved area, it's usually called, or an underserved segment of the culture, where they will forgive the loans a lot faster than 10 years. And if they do that, like a 5-year thing or something, then we can work out a plan on that, or a 3-year thing. One of them is, but you know, the 10-year one, no, I'm not fooling with a 10-year. Just be done with it. It's only $27,000. Knock it out. You've already knocked out a bunch of debt. You're doing a good job. Just play through. Good job. Don is in Wyoming. Hi, Don.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, my mother-in-law has 2 separate properties, and we recently discovered that my sister-in-law has a deed with right of survivorship on one of the properties, and my wife is executor of the deed, which says that things are supposed to be split equally between the 2 sisters. My question is, does this deed trump the will?
Well, you'd have to ask an attorney. I'm not one. Did the deed occur prior to death?
No, she's still alive. She's 82.
Okay, so the will, yeah, it trumps the will. Is going to be my opinion. You need to check with an attorney, but I mean, basically, your mother-in-law gave her property away.
That's what I have to do some research as to kind of what it looks like. Now, is there any way to get out of this?
Again, I would say you'd have to ask an attorney. Was your mother-in-law legally of sound mind when she did this? Was she legally competent?
Yes.
I doubt it.
We've talked to her about it.
Unless the sister-in-law wants to give it back.
I see.
She could choose to give it back. Now, is there other property in the estate?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Well, I would just take that. I'd just take the portion she's got out of her half.
Yeah.
If
the will says things are supposed to be split equally.
Well, the equally just changed though, and the will needs to be changed.
That's what it looks okay.
To reflect that, because you know, if I'm assuming the sister-in-law's bowed her back up and says, no, I'm keeping this.
Well, we don't know that, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, you know, what I would say is I don't mind her having it. Do y'all mind her having that particular property?
Not really.
As long as it's deducted from her half.
Yeah, it's the other property that we're really worried about.
Yeah, so what I would do is just rewrite the will to say that property counts. She's already received a portion of her inheritance equal to X to be deducted from her half.
Yeah, okay. Well,
that's an easier way to do it rather than redeed everything. Since you don't care about that particular property, you just care that she's kind of trying to trump everybody.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. But we'll work on it then.
Yeah, I think you got to rewrite the will is probably what your attorney's going to tell you.
Okay.
And if you're dealing with an 85-year-old, you need to do that like this weekend.
Well, that's what we're discovering.
Yeah, like right now. Right now. Do it today. Because this is not going to be pretty otherwise. You cannot go back. In other words, the way the will reads now, if I understand you right, just logically speaking, again, I'm not an attorney, but logically speaking, whatever your mother-in-law owns at the time of her death, which does not include the house that she's already given away, would be split. And so, you know, your wife is only going to get half of what's there now, not half of what was there before the house was given away, which really I think was Granny's intent, but people just screw stuff up. So, Chris is in Nashville. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, how can I help?
I have about $15,000 left on my debt snowball. My grandfather passed away a few years ago, and Mom recently found in the safe deposit box a stack of savings bonds. At face value, they're about $23,000. They're in his name, and they're POD to me.
Cool.
I looked them up online, and they're worth